Hi, welcome back to Spirituality is Simple. This is Alexia Landa, and today we're going to start right off with the next three tools that are connected to having an essential, fulfilling spiritual partnership. Now, I want everyone to consider using these tools for yourself first, being open to using them with any loved one from friendship to family. Notice how you're using them. I'm focusing on romantic relationships, so I'm going a bit beyond some layers that maybe you wouldn't with a friend or a family member. So be flexible. It's okay to use them in other ways. And also, it's okay to journal about how you want to use them whenever you do connect to some romantic partnership. This is a great way to start co creating. This is a great way to start noticing how you would truly connect to that person that you want to call in or that you will want to call in one day. Now, the seventh tool is all about trust. And this trust has a lot to do with yourself more than the other person. It has to do with self trust. When we have self trust, we're truly connected to our intuition, we're truly connected to noticing patterns, we're truly connected to understanding that we have self value to not be betrayed. Whenever you use the tool of self trust, I want you to notice your level of sensitivity when it comes to betrayal. What is your definition about betrayal? What is your definition about losing something? How do you define that and how do you connect your identity with that? Do you over identify with someone who's scared of being betrayed, who has been betrayed? What it is, how much importance does that have in your story? Because if you have a wound that has to do with betrayal, I'm talking to the people whose parents left them. For example, a father who left, a mother who left, and I'm talking about leaving in all forms of the definition. Someone who wasn't ready to be a father, wasn't ready to be a mother, someone who wasn't emotionally present, that's a form of betrayal. Someone who obviously has a lesson in life that is very expansive, so it's very difficult, that maybe lost a parent when they were younger. All of that will always show up in the energy as betrayal. I want you to look at that energy. I want you to be open to healing it. Because to be able to trust yourself, to be able to trust others, you really have to look into the tool of betrayal. Because when you have betrayal in your energy, which means it's a fear, it's something you are used to maybe doing because you believe that's what others will do to you, so you kind of want to be ahead and win, you're always going to be connecting to that energy of people who are wanting to be present in your energy, to be able to be the teachers, what it is to let go of someone who betrays, what it is to forgive, what it is to truly let go, what it is to truly not have to get back to them. So, no revenge, no resentment. So, a lot of healing energy right there. A lot. That's why I leave it as the seventh step, because the seventh is alignment, full alignment. That's what the seven means. Now, trust is a beautiful tool that does not mean I don't have boundaries, I don't listen to my intuition, I don't ask questions. That does not mean trust. Trust means, and we talked about it, open to communication. So I can ask questions. If I have a question in my heart that I really need an answer to, why wouldn't I ask? Now, if you're pushing the question to the point where you already received an answer and you still don't believe it, then that's when I really want you to work on the tool of betrayal or really listen to your intuition. That's why we first have to see where you're at in your healing journey. Now, like I said, this can be used in romantic partnerships, friendships, family members, yourself. If you ever feel like you're about to betray yourself, that's usually self sabotage. So, usually we see that inner parent come very rigid, very mean. It lacks a lot of grace, it lacks a lot of self sustainability. So, you start depending on something, the addiction comes out, some sort of addiction, maybe emotional, maybe the guy that wouldn't respond back. The girl who I really want and is reminding me of the girl who rejected me in high school, or At some point in college, all of that starts to come out. This is how important trust is, and this is how important healing is. Once you heal, you're able to exchange all that energy for new tools, new ways of envisioning life, new ways of seeing life in such a beautiful way. Now, I'm going to invite you to journal something very specific to be able to start your healing journey with the tool of trust. One, what am I over identifying with? This is besides the betrayal questions I gave you. This is like one-on-one mentorship stuff I'm giving here. One, what is it that I over identify with? And this means, what part of my story do I not let go of? What is it, that story, that part of my story that I still identify with, that still ruminates in my mind, and I still make it almost like that past self of mine, I still make it the protagonist of the now. Pulling in the past to the now. Pulling it in. I just did a masterclass with Q&A on my Substack, and it's all about timelines. It's all about how we have one timeline that's soul level, yet we change physical bodies. That's a different timeline. That timeline with that physical body of being in the now or being in the past or being in the future has a lot to do with trust, has a lot to do with what am I over identifying with. The reason why this is so important with romantic partnership is because if you want to be connected to the highest vibration of yourself, you want to find that person that is at their highest vibration, who you will not create any more trauma, any more toxic cycles, you have to make sure you understand trust, to not create something out of nothing, something out of the past, something out of the past lives, something out of another timeline. You stay here in the now. So if you are with someone right now who you love and you truly care about, if you want to focus this on yourself, if you want to do it with your family, with your friends, notice what story do you over identify with, and how do you bring that energy into your circles, into your relationships? How do you start creating it? We bring things out of people as well, just like they bring things out of us. So we have to understand what it is that we bring into the table and being okay with confronting that with so much love and grace. We're all human, we're all here learning. So when you understand that trust, you might be trusting your wound a lot more than reality. And it's time to drop it. It's time to let it go. It's time to say, I'm done, fine, let's go, let's keep going. Okay? I'm excited about this one, but okay. Number 8. Number 8 is all about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Now, this just has nothing to do with gender. This is just internally us, who we are and how we live life. Our divine feminine, our divine masculine. Our divine feminine is how we receive. Our divine masculine is how we do things. It's how we react, what we give. You have to really understand both sides of you, because if you want to be in a balanced relationship with anyone, you have to know if you know how to receive, if you're open to receiving, if you're open to really, again, trusting. That's why this step is before this one. And then you also have to notice how you give. Do you give gracefully? Are you open to giving? Are you open to almost also giving someone the space of some sort of importance in your life? And this is when we get into these almost loyalty, energetic attachments with family. These are very common in families where there is more women than men, or other families who are more men than women, where the lineage is extremely loyal to using more the divine feminine or more the divine masculine. Usually, not always, I'm not generalizing here. When a family has a bigger or more abundant women in the family, it's because their divine masculine is a little toxic and their divine feminine is very fearful. So they're really lacking that tool of trust within themselves to be able to really be with the man or really understand the man. So then you start seeing the patterns, and what happens, there's this loyalty and lineage that then the next generation either they heal it or they start repeating the same patterns. Same thing if there's a family where there's more abundance of men, their divine feminine is extremely connected to humiliation. And the tool of humiliation happens to everyone, by the way. It usually happens around the age of 7, 8. It can extend all the way to 13. The tool of humiliation is when the imagination and the external world clash a little bit. And they start telling us it's wrong to be ourselves. So that tool is normal. That tool to be activated is very normal on Earth. And that's a completely different topic I'll get into on how to heal it, how to detach from it, how to understand it. But a family who has way more men, it's like abundant. And usually they have a bigger wound on humiliation when it comes to their divine feminine, when it comes to vulnerability, sensitivity. Usually their divine masculine can be very passive aggressive because they don't understand that it's not about not being able to express themselves a certain way or not being able to do. They can action and fall, and it's okay. They've never had someone to guide them. It's usually like a lot of loneliness, a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of put down. So when you understand that the divine feminine and the divine masculine within ourselves has to be balanced to be able to receive, to be able to give in a balanced way, in a healthy way, in a spiritual way, instead of in a very wounded way, where the ego is not a tool but rather used as an exchange, you start understanding where the blocks are in your relationship. You start understanding that maybe the men don't have space to communicate just in the way they can, the way they know how. And the women don't know how to receive because if they receive, they might have to owe a man something. And that's a huge wound in the lineage of women who've gone through a lot with men. So you get to see both sides and understand why sometimes connecting spiritually can be so difficult. But yet, it's the simplest thing when you drop these wounds that truly it's just energy that needs to be transformed, transmuted, and exchanged. Okay? Okay, my loves. Last one for today. It's the foundation. The foundation. And this one's key just in general in life. Having a foundation with all these tools I've been talking about, but even more that really talks about who you are. Who are you? Who are you deciding to be in this lifetime? Because that foundation is what's going to keep that 50% of any relationship alive. If not, you're giving someone else more responsibility or you're taking more responsibility. Foundation is really about knowing who you are, which means who are you choosing to be? Sit down and write down who am I choosing to be for every relationship I have? And who's compatible with that? So that you can truly have fulfilling relationships where you understand one another. You're not lying to anyone. You're having integrity about this is who I am without having to fight or have that constant push and pull of who's better, who's worse, what you did to me, what you didn't do to me. There's no need of that. We can say we're just not compatible and move on. And that's when I remind everyone we can have many lives with so many people, but it doesn't mean you know them in this lifetime. So get to know them. Truly. Learn about layers to getting to know people. Don't rush anything. There's layers. You don't have to trust them all at once and give them all the responsibility of how to treat you at once. Teach them, show them, communicate to them, listen to them. It's a dance. It takes time. All time is experiences. That's all time is, okay? But I hope everyone has an amazing week, and I'll see you next week to finish this 4-week series, and I can't wait to see what you all journal. Send it back to me. Sending everyone so much love and light. Bye.